তো ঠিক আছে, আমি তাহলে শুরু করি। হ্যাঁ, 9টা 6 বেজে গেছে। আচ্ছা। um, so greetings everyone. Welcome to our another panel session. I think we are overwhelming everyone with that, but this is a very important one, and this is actually going to be focusing on the external awards and recognition, which whoever is in the academic career as well as elsewhere, people would like to be recognized for their work. And from that perspective, we do have two of the very prominent and award-winning professors with us. We do have Professor Sheikh Akbar. He is of Material Science and Engineering Department of Ohio State University. And we also have Professor Muhammad Atikus Zaman. So he is the Hitachi Chair Professor as well as the Edith Kenney Gaylord Presidential Professor, School of Computer Science, University of Oklahoma. So both of them, they will be basically sharing their perspectives and some of the experiences and the suggestions and advice regarding the how to prepare and the overall process of the external awards and recognition. This might take 25 to 30 minutes. Meanwhile, whenever you have any questions, so please that you can post it either on chat or Q&A box. um, and after that, so as usual, we will be taking those questions. We'll read those questions to them, and at that point, it's quite interactive, as you know. We anticipate we will be able to finish by 10 o'clock. And welcome again. Thanks for joining. During the time of their talk, we are keeping the mics off. Okay. Thank you so much. And Professor Akbar, Professor Atikuzaman, welcome. And I think Professor Akbar, that he will go first. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Mustafa. Assalamu alaikum and good evening to everybody. I also want to acknowledge my co-panelist, Professor Atikus Zaman. I didn't quite know how to prepare, so I actually prepared a couple of slides with pointers to prompt questions and more discussion. So let's see whether I can share what I have. Let's see, I don't quite see the, let me go.
If you're using a desktop, it should be by the camera mic and then share. It's on the right, the top
that's
side.
what I'm trying. Let's see. So I see the share button. Let's see. I'm looking for the folder that the file I need. That's always a challenge. I thought I had it on my desktop. Just what I can do. Still looking for my Sorry about that. I'm going to close a few. Let's see. Just 1 second here. Let's see, reopen my slide here. And
you'll need to unlock your iPhone first. It doesn't look like you have an app named Slide. You can search.
All right, let's try to share this time. Still don't see it. That's interesting. I can send it to you, Mustafa.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to send the file to you.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm not being able to see my file in the desktop. Let's see. So all right, it should be on your way here.
Okay, I'm waiting for that.
Yeah. Is it there yet?
Not there yet, but that's okay. You can start talking, and meanwhile, when it comes, I'm just going to share. I got it. Give me a minute. Okay, I am going to share, okay?
All right.
Okay, if you see my screen, just let me know.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, you can go ahead now.
Oh, all right. Yeah, thank you so much, and sorry for that
That's okay.
hiccup. So as I said, I didn't know how to prepare, so I put few pointers or bullets to talk about. Let's see. So you will have to, yeah, go. You can click on to, yeah. So sorry, go back. Yeah, the first slide still, or you're already on the second slide, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, now
So in, I wanted to just mention that internal awards are also important, which is not the topic of today. Like you can get department, college, and university awards that you should keep on collecting on your resume or dossier. But go to the next one, please, the topic today. Yeah. So it's mostly national, international awards that I have few bullets on. The first bullet, please. So this may not be as important for tenure and promotion from assistant to associate, although as an assistant professor, because this is still sort of early 6th, 7th year. So, but if you have some of these awards, great. It adds as a kudo to your dossier, but may not be as important. Next, please. But this is very important for when you're going from associate to full professor for sure. Next. Okay. Yeah. And obviously, as a faculty, we want to be modest. Modest is a good virtue that we should try to keep. But you have to be a little bit proactive to get this recognition and awards. And along with yourself, you should try to promote your students and postdocs and your associates, because that adds to your credibility as well. As preparation for, sort of gearing up for this kind of recognitions, you need to interact with your peers at professional meetings and conferences. And you can be pushy, but I don't think that's something I would personally recommend. The way you need to impress your peers is through your technical talks and leadership skills. So you need to interact with them, make technical presentations and at meetings, and look at the depth and impact of your talk. And you should volunteer for things, or when you're called up on volunteering some committee or some activities, that's a good way to sort of get in that circle, that eventually somebody will nominate you and you get the nominated for the award. Next, please. But my emphasis here is, please focus on the technical quality of your interaction and leadership skills. There are all types of awards. So next, please. It's mostly through professional societies such as IEEE, Electrochemical Society, Materials Users Society. Obviously, I'm naming some of those that I'm familiar with, but you have to find out the appropriate or relevant professional society in your discipline. Some of the awards can be Fellow of a Society, very important. Outstanding Publication Award. There may be divisional awards within a given society, like Electrochemical Society has sensor divisions, high temperature materials division, all kinds of, division, and they give awards. So these are some of the examples of type of professional awards that you should be gearing for. Next, please. Other examples, some of these are obviously national awards, like R&D 100 awards. Typically in academia, we don't get too many of these R&D 100 awards. It's mostly industrial people who get it, but this is a recognition from the R&D magazine. They choose 100 best innovation of the year. So if you have something in that category, you may be recognized for that. There is something called Collegiate Inventors Award. It's primarily for your students, but the advisor also gets part of the award and recognition. And there are many other examples of national awards. Next one, please. Then there are international awards as you get senior and put in several years in your profession. You may be eligible for some of these international awards like Fulbright, Humboldt Fellowship, JSPS Fellowship, and so on. And next one, please. There should be one more bullet.
It's already there.
It's already there. Okay, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, there are some mega ones that, something like NAE member, National Academy of Engineering membership. And yeah, okay, I see that now. Lifetime achievement, but those are like, kind of later years of your profession. So what I have done here is basically to prompt questions and prompt discussion further. And I hope I have tried to cover most of the things from my perspective, and Professor Atikus-Zaman will probably supplement some of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Akbar. Professor Atiku-Zaman.
Shall I do the same thing? Send you the transparencies?
That's fine. Have you tried sharing?
I haven't actually, because I have a PowerPoint, and if I share, then let me try sharing and see what happens.
Okay.
An expert in Teams. I can see share.
Oh, you're sharing.
Does it work?
Yeah.
Yep. Works.
Okay.
You may want to put it in the slideshow.
If I put in the slideshow, that's what the problem. I have two monitors. It goes somewhere else. Let me see. Does it work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I put a few points, and these are my experience. These are not something which everybody may agree to, but this is a sort of topic where you present your own experience, and please feel free to debate, or if you have other stuff to add, feel free. So one of them I find is important is to build a very strong research portfolio. This is the fundamental, the foundation of getting these top awards. How do we build this research portfolio? Is to publish in very high quality research venues, top tier journals, top tier conferences, peer reviewed conferences, journals. The other thing I find is to diversify the research. When I was a junior faculty, I used to concentrate very much on one very small topic. And later on, I found out that it is good to diversify the research outputs, because more people will know about your work rather than being limited to just one very specific area. Other thing I find is to collaborate with a lot of people, because your research gets to a lot more people, your research gets more citation as you collaborate with more people, because everybody is trying to promote their work. So the more the co-authors, the visibility of the work increases. So once we have done a good work, now comes the job of finding the relevant awards. Where are those awards? Nobody will come and tell you that here is an award you want to apply. That happens. I mean, all these award notifications come to you in general, but you have to find out which one is your one. So there are a lot of awards which are very specific to the research field. Is important to identify those awards that align with your research area, that aligns with your discipline, your expertise. The important thing is to know the eligibility criteria. The eligibility criteria are very different between awards. Some of them focus very much on publications, like IEEE awards. Some of them considered on very much like impact, and they look at how many citations you have you got any patent, that sort of stuff. So it's important to understand the eligibility criteria if there is any restriction like a geographical limitation. Also, it's important to understand the selection process, what metrics they're using to give those awards. And it's best to write up your application or nomination based on the selection process. The metrics are important because a lot of these awards are evaluated by a panel of experts, and they are given some metrics and also some weights to those metrics. So it's important to write the application or the nomination based on these criteria. The next thing, once you have figured out the awards you're going to apply for, The next thing is to develop a very strong nomination package and application. It's important to seek letters of recommendation from people who are very well known in the field, well-respected academics. And also it's very important to highlight the significant contributions. We sometimes present 139 publications we have, but which ones are the most important ones is important to highlight. So once we have developed a group of people who will write the nomination letters for us, what I do is tell these people, let's say there are 5 people, that, okay, you consider on this publication or this area, and I tell the other nominator that why don't you consider on this area of my work, so that all these nominations have a diverse trust on what I've been doing. Otherwise, if you just leave it to them, they will write general stuff which may not highlight your exact contribution, or they may be highlighting in very general. It's best to, I think, tell them what they need to focus on, which part of your contribution. And other thing I find important is to customize each submission to the specific awards. If someone is applying for an IEEE award, they looked at impact. If they are looking, if the award is looking for a particular contribution in a field, it's best to focus on that particular area and the papers we have. So it's important to customize each submissions to the award's goals and criteria, rather than having one application which covers everything and doesn't fit in very well with the awards. It's important to understand and leverage the professional network, so that people know your work, your visibility. And one of the ways is to join these academic societies like IEEE and other societies which are there. It's important to understand that awards a lot of the times are very much affected based on your visibility. People may already know your work, and they might have made up a mind that, okay, this person is very well known in this field. Or even if you have a lot of work in a field, and if you are not known, they may not dig into your application much, because people are very busy nowadays. So one of them is to attend a lot of conferences and build the very strong professional network, so that people know your work and people know that you are in this area. It's good to engage with online platforms nowadays, Google Scholar and lots of other platforms there are, and participating in those discussions help people know your work and increase your visibility. So what I was basically saying is, in addition to good work, it is important that people know your work without even reading your application or nomination, from your participation in different forums and attending conferences and whatever ways there are to make your work visible. It's important nowadays to promote our work, and we need to disseminate the work effectively. So this is basically marketing. Someone can develop a very nice product a very nice product, but people may not know it. Similarly, in research, we may do very nice work. It's important to market it through various social media like ResearchGate. There are university press releases which highlights people's accomplishments. And then, of course, we can also seek the media coverage. If possible, we can publish our work in, let's say, local newspapers, international newspapers, through media, TV channels. Lots of channels are there nowadays. So it's very important to promote your work using various channels like the social media and the news platforms, all those things. Mentoring emerging scholars is an important thing. What happens is, sometimes you will find that in these award committees, there are people who are much junior than you even. So it's important to mentor people who are junior, so that when they become senior, when they are in these award committees, they already know your work. So it's important to mentor a lot of scholars, not only in your institution, but professionally in general. So having a lot of people you are advising helps all these helps helps when they are in the committees. So one of the ways is to engage in service roles. So participating in these journal editorial boards, review panels, and committees where you might be in a leadership role and you're mentoring other people who are junior. Apply very consistently. Recognition takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So it's important to regularly apply for all these recognitions, awards, and opportunities. And it's important to understand that rejection is part of the game. We submit papers, it gets rejected thrice and then gets accepted the fourth time. We apply for grant applications, we apply for grants, it gets rejected 3 times, then gets accepted the fourth time. It's a similar thing in awards. Don't be discouraged when you face rejections. Be consistent and keep on applying and learn from the unsuccessful applications, why it was unsuccessful, and refine the application or the nomination and submit again. I think that's all I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer, or if you have any comments, I'll be happy to know what your views are.
Thank you, Professor Peak. Thanks so much to both of you for these valuable suggestions. So the floor is open for questions. Again, if you have any question, please raise your hand. I'm going to unmute yourself and then introduce yourself and ask the question. Or also you can also post it on the chat or Q&A.
And again, as I mentioned earlier, I need to emphasize that lot of these are my views. So feel free to debate or feel free to have your own comments.
Okay.
Yeah, Professor Atiquzzaman, I want to thank you for elaborating on the process itself that I did not cover at all. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. We do have Mohammed Al Amin Sadek. Please unmute yourself. Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, both of you, for a wonderful presentation. It's obviously valuable for us as a young faculty. It's encouraging for us. I have just a very quick question. Like I know is getting those external awards are always very challenging because everybody is trying. And what I personally felt like, Dr. Atiquzzaman, again, thank you for bringing that out, networking. So what I found is very often you are probably eligible, have more qualifications compared to other faculty members, but sometimes if no one nominates you, it's hard to get that award. So how do you think about, what's your opinion about nominating yourself or by myself, or I don't know, is that something you could also do, or
I think a lot of these award applications will tell you that self-nominations are acceptable. If that is acceptable, you can certainly nominate yourself, but I would strongly recommend that someone else nominates you, even though you can nominate yourself. That gives an impression to the committee that there are people who know you, who support you, rather than you submitting yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, sometimes, if an external person is not available to nominate you, for example, either from the society or professional society that you associate with, your colleague in the department can nominate you, for example. So I agree with Professor Atiquzzaman that even though self-nomination is allowed for many awards, it would be always appropriate if somebody else nominates you.
Yeah, thank you. So that's what I felt like sometimes, as you mentioned, it happens like I would like to nominate someone, but sometimes I'm busy. I don't have time to just go ahead and nominate them, right? So I feel like sometimes you need a really good connection, like you people feel that importance that they're gonna go ahead and nominate for you. And thanks, I appreciate. Yeah, that's really valuable.
With both of your permission, can I make a comment? Yes. So it's from my experience, like, that one of the things is when I got elected as an IEEE fellow. So that was the first time when I was actually like nominated. I was nominated by someone who is from the IEEE Communication Society. He is one of the NEE members. But I work on electron devices. So it didn't actually go anywhere. But I got the input, right? So the next time when I went, it didn't go immediately after, like not the next year. I waited one more year so that kind of the memory is wiped out. And then I was nominated by the Berkeley College of Engineering Dean, Professor Suji King Liu, because I was in Berkeley at that point. And she's going to be the president of NEE just from the next year, right? So at that point, it was just a smooth ride. So it is very important who is nominating because the credibility of that person actually washes away, and that person takes the I would say the responsibility because that when they put their thumbprint, they like to make sure that this is actually something worthwhile. So I would say that you may want to take time, but to actually make those connections. And in a sense, BrainSTEM is actually doing that thing. Like Professor Atikus Zaman is a renowned authority on computer science. So anyone who is working in the computer science field can obviously reach out to him. Okay. Hey, uh, so Professor Rahman, please. Sorry, I took your time.
Assalamu alaikum and aloha. I hope you can hear me. My voice is down. I am a computer science professor at University of Hawaii. So this is a teaching focused school. So every semester I have to teach like 3 different courses. And I don't have any masters or PhD students or postdoc. So it's very difficult for us teaching faculty, to write all those kind of publication. But still, I'm the like kind of like highest published professor in our area. But I'm planning to apply for this IEEE fellow. But I'm kind of scared when I see that all professors they have like 400 500 and all the journals and publications, and I'm kind of scared to put my application. That's one thing. And the second, since I live in Hawaii and isolated place, I don't have, there is no second BUET graduate in Hawaii. So I'm kind of, I don't find even anybody to nominate me for this kind of award. When this Professor Mustafa invited me, I was very excited. And still, I'm traveling and I am attending. So I thought maybe I'll find some of our buddies or network, that I could work. So for a faculty like me, what would you recommend that how can I proceed and to get those kind of award, and being a small school in an isolated place? Thank you.
I think one of the things is since you mentioned about the IEEE Fellow Award, these are very competitive, of course. And before applying for those, I would suggest that you have a few other, I don't know whether you've already done that, a few other awards which could support that sort of big application, like a fellow application. For example, there are awards from IEEE based on papers. There are paper awards. And there are also awards from technical committees like in the communication society, there are various technical committees, ad hoc sensor network committee, and then there is a switching committee, and then there is a optical committee. There are awards from these committees, which are called distinguished technical awards from all these committees. So it would be good to get a few of those as well before actually applying for the big one. So I would suggest building your application, starting with smaller awards and going to medium and then large awards before applying for very large awards. That is one thing I learned from my experience.
I
Thank you,
I
Professor
don't
Akbar.
have I don't have much to add here, but if teaching is the main focus of your work, there should be teaching related awards. Fellow typically is research heavy, impact heavy, outstanding publication heavy. But so I think if there are teaching related awards, I think there is an what is it called? Association for Engineering Teaching. There is something.
ASEE.
Right.
ASEE, exactly.
American
Right.
American
Society
Society of
of
ASEE.
Engineering
Engineering
Education.
Education.
Right. So some of those awards may be very relevant for you.
I would like to make a
But
comment. Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead, Professor Akbar. Complete it.
but things like fellow of a professional society is usually typically research heavy type awards.
Professor Rahman, because you are thinking about IEEE based on your society as well as your concentration, there are multiple education awards. As an example, in EDS, we do have the education award. An education award is highly coveted, and that this actually opens up the opportunity eventually, because means that that if you can do the education in a very innovative way that can be done with quality and scale conforming inclusion, I think that will be considered, because I serve also in the IEEE the fellow selection committee, once in the bigger one and the twice in the EDS. And I've seen that those actually are sought after, but we don't get, because those people are also the already, the fellow in a sense, they also have some research publications, but you can also do the similar through your education. So it's actually please do not underestimate, do not get the hopeless. I would actually say that this is a big concentration from NSF. Professor Akbar and Professor Atiquzzaman can actually suggest on this. Any society is now looking for how we can outreach and how we can broaden our impact. And as an educator, educating more students with the minority backgrounds, or even the homeschool kids, as a process of outreach, these are always helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Rashid.
I have a very foundational questions. First of all, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Rashid. I'm assistant professor in chemical and materials engineering at University of Nevada, Reno. So when I saw Dr. Akbar Sar is here today, I used to read his paper on gas sensing. More recently, we are looking into that, because we are facing problems on gas viscosity, how we can understand gas viscosity. It is one of the big challenges in understanding gas kinetics. So then I was like, okay, this is a good session to talk to. But Dr. Atik is the one you mentioned about the foundational work. So for early career faculty, it takes time to really do some foundational work. Sometimes students, they also panic a lot, because they also want to graduate, and a good work takes some time, 2 to 3 years, to totally understand it and then really publish the work. So can you suggest something along the same line, when it takes time to establish the foundation, how we can strategize and move forward?
So what is your specific question? Can you repeat the question?
like how we can strategize on this kind of activities, because it takes time for early career faculties to establish the foundation and then apply for this kind of awards.
I think my suggestion would be to start with the awards like paper awards. So when I was junior faculty, I started with awards like there are a lot of awards from IEEE which are based on papers. So there is a paper which has a lot of citations, which has good impact, and you can apply for this paper award. And there are conferences where they also have paper awards. There are journals where there are awards for papers. I think once you have received a number of these awards from journals or conferences on papers, and then you can accumulate these 2 or 3 awards in a particular area, and then apply for awards from the technical societies. For example, when I recently applied for one of these technical achievement awards from these ad hoc and sensor networks of the Communication Society, which fortunately I received after second try, I think. So all these things have to be actually built one top of the other. That's what I understood. And other things, I have been in a number of these award evaluation committees, and I find that people don't have time to read everything and verify everything. They go a lot by their impression, what impression they have. That carries a lot of weight. So being well known, being having volunteered for a lot of these professional societies increase their visibility. I mean, I used to think towards the beginning of my career that 80% of the thrust is on the actual research, but later on I found that that's not the case. I think marketing is huge, and marketing is a visibility. So I don't know
Thank
whether
you.
I've answered your question, but I would say that start with smaller awards and go increasingly towards the bigger ones. And also visibility is important. I must emphasize that.
Yeah.
It's very important. People don't have time to read these 39 pages of nominations, right? They they already they've already for example, when I was in a award committee for one of these technical societies, they just had an impression. These people who are the 5 people in the committee, they say, "Oh, this person does good work," and all these things. I mean, without even reading the nomination package. So visibility is very important. Basically, marketing is very important.
Thank you.
Just to supplement, when you are a junior faculty, you really have to build it ground up from the starting with getting outstanding presentation award or poster award or paper award in professional societies and meetings. And that's how you eventually will increase your visibility and people will start recognizing you. So
I would like to make a suggestion. So I know it's from firsthand experience. So you know that as an example, IEDM is the most competitive and the number one conference for electron device community for IEEE. So there is every year there are 2 sessions which are actually on emerging field, right? And if you can organize as well as you become one of the invited speakers there, those are highly populated sessions. And if you present really good work, right, so people see the new opportunities, new hopes. And that's how you start building some of the credibilities of your work, foundation, actually. Because you see that the body of works takes a lot of time, right? I think Professor Atik Zaman and Akbar can elaborate that to have a body of work, solid work, not the Facebook type work. Means, okay, I have this paper. I don't think that that actually counts. It has to have a long lineage of every single, the knots you are tying. Uh, that actually, helps.